What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the latest episode of The Layup.Line. If you missed Monday's upload, it was the first part of this video. I talked about my rookie reports and draft grades for all of the Western Conference lottery picks, and today I'm going to be doing the East. If you're new to this channel though, you should consider subscribing. I drop videos at least twice a week, and you can expect my mid-February power rankings to drop next week. You can also find me on most social media. I put out snippets and previews of videos, and you can watch me live tweeting most games. I'm pretty interactive and I follow back, so join me on this journey to grow this channel. But with that out the way, let's get into these Eastern Conference rookies.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Sensations, thinking they know the game of basketball, they would then have to admit that they don't know basketball.
Before I get started, I wanted to mention that these grades are less about the actual rookie and more about how successfully the front office used that draft pick. I'm grading on the quality of players selected afterwards and how well each of these selections fit the team's needs. These rookies deserve some patience after a quarantine that ended their college and international seasons and caused them to miss out on the draft process and summer league. This is a rookie report 20 games into most of these guys' careers, so the performance now isn't the end of the world. But we're going to start at the end of the draft lottery with the Boston Celtics taking Aaron Nesmith at 14. I'm giving the Celtics a C on this pick because it started as one of three that they had on the night. Going into the draft, everyone knew that there was no way that the Celtics would make 3 draft selections just based on how their roster was set up. Just evaluating this pick alone, Nesmith was projected to be one of, if not the best shooters in the class, after Aaron shot 41% on threes in college at Vanderbilt. I'm sure the Celtics were expecting the 21-year-old to be an NBA-ready pick that they could test out in their rotation. Nesmith might build himself back up in the second half of the season or make the leap and get some consistency in future seasons, but I just don't think that's the kind of player the Celtics were looking for or needed this year. The Celtics bench has been very lacking. In fact, their 26th pick in Peyton Pritchard has stolen the shine as the Celtics' best rookie, and when your 26th pick is outperforming your 14th, there's probably some second guessing going on now. The next rookie in the East to talk about is the 9th pick to the Wizards, Deni Avdija. I'm giving the Wizards a B- on the pick for numerous reasons. I like the Deni pick, and he has fit a team need providing spacing as one of the better shooters on this team, but he was drafted into a bit of a logjam. I'd consider Deni almost exclusively a power forward, a position Washington already had occupied by Rui Hachimura, and the team would then bring back Davis Bertans as the backup on a big money deal. And this has forced Washington to play Deni up a position at the 3, and we aren't seeing as much of the playmaking ability as the draft breakdowns projected. The Wizards are in a weird place trying to compete within a very short window, while also thinking heavily about the future of young players like Deni, Rui, and Thomas Bryant. I don't think Deni is a bad pick, and if the Wizards get a good coach, someone might even be able to manage this logjam. But everyone around this range is kind of just going to lose points for passing on Halliburton, who would have been a great fit for the Wizards with his passing, his shooting, and his defensive IQ. Moving on to the 8th pick in the draft, the New York Knicks take Obi Toppin. I think a lot of Knicks fans talk themselves into the Obi selection, but this is another instance where the team's late round pick is being more productive than their lottery pick. Part of the upside of taking Obi was supposed to be that his age meant he should be NBA ready, and to put it nicely, he hasn't been. His poor defense has kept him on the bench for extended periods, and the offensive game hasn't been as effective as hoped. But like I said in the intro, this is less about the actual rookie and more about the draft picks, and the Knicks are another team that drafted a rookie into a logjam at his position. Randall and Robinson were already going to start over him, but Obi's getting less than 12 minutes per game in his 15 games so far, and that's a bit surprising to me. The Knicks forced my hand into giving them a C grade here because they're a team that needed a point guard, and I don't know what caused them to pass on Tyrese Halliburton. It's not like they couldn't have also still selected Emmanuel Quickly. I'm sure those two would have been able to play together, And with Julius Randle having a surprise all-star year, it's made it even harder to justify giving Toppin minutes right now. Before I get into this next pick, I want to ask you guys to leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think of your favorite team's rookie. Have they played? Are you excited about them? Does your team not own draft picks for the foreseeable future? Whatever it is, just let me know and we can get a discussion going about these rookies. But moving on to the next team, and that's the 7th pick going to Detroit. The Pistons selected Killian Hayes, who hasn't looked great in his 7 games before injury. And while it's not really fair to them or him to compare that to Halliburton, the Pistons are a team that needed a guard, and they passed on a guy who's the 2nd best point guard in the class at the moment. Hayes might get healthy and put his name into that conversation as well, but in the short term, this front office needs to come together for a prayer circle and hope that this doesn't end up looking like the previous front office's decision of drafting Luke Kennard over Donovan Mitchell, which inevitably got them fired. On the bright side for Detroit fans, passing on Tyrese will at least help you tank your way to a better draft pick next year, and it's hard to give this anything higher than a C at the moment. The next team up are the Atlanta Hawks taking Onyeka Okongwu. We haven't seen much of Onyeka in his rookie season. At the time of the draft, teams were aware that he was dealing with an injury that would keep him out to start this year. This is why it made so much sense for the Hawks to be the team to draft Okongwu, in my opinion. Atlanta had recently traded for Clint Capella, who's a veteran big that very much fits the mold of what Okongwu can be defensively. The Hawks can absolutely afford to bring Okongwu along slowly as he gets back to 100%, and he's the kind of rim-running big that would fit well around Trae Young. If Okongwu hits the ceiling of his potential, he slides into the role of the team's future center, but if Onyeka remains around his floor or his development plateaus, he can be a backup big, and it's also a position that the Hawks really needed to draft for anyway. Trae is the team's point guard. Like usual, you can knock off some points because Tyrese could have still played off ball here, but the Hawks have some other guys like Reddish, Hunter, and then they later signed Bogdan, so it's a B+ pick, especially considering Okongwu's upside. Next up with the 5th pick to Cleveland, who would take Isaac Okoro. I like the selection of Okoro here at 5. It fills a Cavs team need for a defensive wing behind their Sexland backcourt. Garland and Sexton have both improved as defenders this season, but the Cavs were always going to need a good wing to handle the tough perimeter assignment. I just have to give it a B grade at the moment because of how little offensive production that they're getting from Okoro. To be fair, they didn't expect that when they selected him, although I saw pre-draft reports that the Cavs are optimistic that they can fix his jumper. If Isaac can become a 3 and D player combined with the off-ball dribble flashes that we've seen from him, he could become a key piece of a future playoff Cavs team, but at the moment he's a bit more Matisse Thybulle than he is Mikal Bridges. Moving on to the 4th selection though is Patrick Williams to the Chicago Bulls. Now this was a pick that caught a lot of people off guard. I mostly saw Williams in the 7 to 14 range on most mock boards, and the Bulls front office was fairly silent during the pre-draft process. So far it's been a huge success. Pat Will is a two-way forward with a very efficient offensive game. He's been dubbed by some as Baby Kawhi for just how similar their mid-range pull-up is, and Williams is actually the youngest player in the league at the moment. This is a rookie that's starting for the Bulls, and he's getting buckets while taking on tough perimeter assignments regularly, and aside from the playmaking lead guard, he's very much what the Bulls need. The Bulls' new front office is bringing in Williams on the last year of Otto Porter's contract, and since Pat Will is already starting over Otto, the Bulls have the option of now keeping Porter as a veteran backup / occasional starter, or just fully hand the keys to Williams. So I'm not even really going to deduct points for passing on Halliburton here. Pat Will shows flashes of a lot of the things that make Tyrese so good while being younger, so in my opinion it's still good enough for an A- grade on this. The final rookie I'll be talking about is the 3rd overall pick, LaMelo Ball to the Charlotte Hornets. Going into the draft, the Hornets' biggest need in my opinion was for a center. Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier were going to be the starting guards, and they would later bring in Gordon Hayward to start on the wing. PJ Washington, the team's previous lottery pick, is starting at the 4, and Cody Zeller is a very underwhelming last guy to round out your 5, but Rozier and Graham aren't good enough players that you shouldn't select the best available when you have the 3rd overall pick, and as a result, the Hornets may end up with the Rookie of the Year. LaMelo Ball has been good for the Hornets, and even better since he was inserted into the starting lineup. They're managing to get wins as well, currently sitting at 6th in the East at the recording of this video. Halliburton is really the only rookie you can remotely debate against LaMelo in a redraft, but given LaMelo's ceiling and age, I'd say the Hornets made the right decision here, and I honestly don't even mind too much that they overpaid to bring in Gordon Hayward. Last year's 3rd overall pick, RJ Barrett, would have killed to play next to a player as good as Gordon, and it helped LaMelo to have Hayward and even Rozier around so he can spend some time off ball. I could honestly make a whole video about LaMelo, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Leave a like if you learned something new or if you like what I do. Make sure you check out the video I did earlier in the week on the other top 14 picks. My socials will be in the video description, so add me there and subscribe and hit the bell because that really helps me grow the channel. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.